Okay, Tendo, I have something very important to tell you.
You have something important to tell me?
Important to tell you. So, because our whole entire theme is, our podcast theme is based around harmonica, right? And
Obviously,
harmonica
yes.
sounds and whatever.
Harmonicas, yes.
Exactly. I have constructed a new censoring sound. Pretty interesting stuff here. So, I need you to say something that I have to censor out.
And
oh man, now the world may never know what you will ever see.
I could have just straight up swore there, but I was like, probably not.
Let's just say you did swear, and
I did.
They don't know that.
Up and down. You guys heard it.
It's the worst.
All
it's
of the words. The
we
G word, the Z word, the Q word.
That was the word.
The Q word. That's a bad one. You ever heard that one?
Yeah. Quip.
You just said it right now. It's
I'm so sorry.
Out.
Okay. Yeah, Mm-hmm. That was way too bad. Sorry, little children's ears. Rip headphone users.
Family friendly. This is family friendly, Noah. You can't talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, talking about the Clue, the game of deduction and seduction. Kid-friendly content. Here we are. Welcome to our podcast again.
Welcome.
Episode 12.
Wow.
It's not actually episode 12. It's actually only episode 9. Sorry to burst your bubble.
No. I was like, wow. I went into a coma. I thought we were like barely past 7. But there's so many of these, you just forget. And soon every episode is like the last. And everything loses all What are we talking about today?
Okay, well, because we're stuck for conversation topics, we've resulted to talking about the weather. So, Tendo.
Gosh, we're literally talking about the weather.
We're literally talking about the weather. So, what kinds of weather do you like? Because we've grown up in very different places and entirely different climates. So,
well, for me, I mean, I'm gonna go out and say I live in a temperate zone. Mm-hmm. I get all of the seasons. I get the classical, what you'd call like American seasons. I have like winter, fall, spring, summer, all for roughly even amounts of time. I mean, obviously with global warming, it's adjusted a little, but it's the classical, northern hemisphere 4 seasons thing. I get the snow, I get the heat. There's not much more to say. I don't know. How about you, Noah?
Well, I live more northern than you do. I live in Washington, and we also get all seasons, but they are a lot more toned down. What are your summers like? Because I visited you in the summer, and it was pretty hot. It's pretty hot.
Well, especially now, summers get hot. They get, nothing. It's uncommon to go much above 100.
Oh,
but yeah, summers are hot. They're usually up there most of the time. I mean, it's different every time, but yeah, 90s, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What about winters? Do they get really cold and like really snowy?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's upsetting.
Obviously, in the last few years, we only been like 3 or 4 major snows, and not very big because, yay, the Earth is warming.
That could be a topic for another day. Global warming.
Goodness, but no, I love snow, and sometimes
you do. Okay.
there'll be really big blizzards, and then there'll be like 3 or 4 feet of snow. And then you go outside and it looks like there's a glacier in your backyard. And it's like the most exciting thing ever. And you could just like swim in it. And it's really cold.
Is that why you spend much time in Greenland hunting meson?
Yeah.
Because of all the
it's
snow?
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, we don't get very much snow up here in Washington, unfortunately, in the winters. And the highs in the summer are like 80s. So, like, it's very, very toned down compared to, like, the rest of the United States. And I really like it. But I don't know. I like where I live, and the weather is amazing, and we do have seasons, which I like. I don't like having the same weather like in Hawaii or something. I don't know. Hawaii is hot and muggy, and I wouldn't want to live there. But you said you'd like snow. What's your favorite time of year?
I'm gonna have to go with winter. Particularly January, February.
That is the best part of winter. Yes, I do agree.
Because the winter's overshadowed by very specific, somewhat obnoxious things in the December, November season.
Definitely not anything like Christmas. Definitely not that.
Not at all.
Not at all. Absolutely not.
No, but like my favorite thing is there'll be a big snowfall, and it'll be like late February.
Mm-hmm.
And because this happens, we even get snow like as late as April. I know 2 or 3 years ago we got snow in April. And like 2 or 3 days later, it'll be really sunny,
and
so you can go
all
outside.
The snow will melt away.
No, okay, that takes a day. So you go outside in the morning, and there's still 2 feet of snow, but it's like almost a summer day weather. So you put on like long sleeves or like a hoodie, and then like you could put like shorts and a pair of boots on, and you can play in the snow. But it's like slightly cooler summer weather, and it's like the best thing ever. And you can have snowball fights and forts, but it's not unbearably cold.
And then sounds awesome. We don't never get anything like that, but that sounds
so cool.
Very fun. I like snow. I just don't like the weather that usually comes with snow because it's too cold for me.
I'm certainly not very susceptible to the cold, but I'm just
lucky you.
I love the snow, and I love sledding, and it also is probably because summer weather kind of like, I know we haven't gotten to that yet, but summer weather kind of depresses me. Like sunny days. Like they aren't like uplifting and bright. They're
just painful and hot.
Yeah, they're just really kind of dull to me.
I feel basically the same way. I don't like sunny days. I prefer rain. We've been getting rain around here, and I love it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Tons of rain, and it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just stand out in it. Especially like if it's I don't know what you'd properly call this, but like when the sun is still out in a certain part of the sky, it's not completely covered by clouds, so the sun is still up, so it's still pretty bright, but it's raining at the same time. Ugh, it's so pretty.
Okay, so I took this test that was, I don't know, business. No, it was like from the New York Post or whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but it based on your colloquialisms and terms that you use to describe certain things, it places you on a map. And so I took that, and I'll link this in the show notes, so you guys should take it. It's really trippy, and it placed me right where I live in Washington, and it was crazy because I didn't even realize all these things that happened, and like all these different terms that people use. But what you just described, when there's sun and it's raining, apparently that happens a lot more often than it does here, because I had never, we don't have a term for it here. And so it listed, what do you call it when it's sunny outside and there's rain? And then I just had to click other because we don't call it anything. But that rarely, if ever, happens. I had only seen it once, and he was actually hailing when it was super sunny outside. And a friend of mine, he was at our house, and we went outside, and we were like, this is so weird. It never happens. So do you guys have a particular term that you guys use where you are?
I actually don't think so.
Oh, man.
But, okay, that's actually a really interesting thing, though. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but the idea that people can be, like, categorized by where they live. Like, you know, in the U.S., we think we all speak the English language or whatever, but just the very slight changes in, I know this is a bad example, but, like, soda or pop or whatever. That's not a good example.
No, that's a great, stuff like that is a great example.
Or something like that, where the terminology is known. If it happens more frequently, then you can predict where they're at. And it wasn't until I started noticing stuff like that, like almost like huge, not just nuances in language, but like huge differences in like northern, southern, eastern, western, just American language, is like when I finally started to realize how so many languages were broken up in Europe. Because as a kid, I was like, how are there so many languages over there? It's such a tiny area.
That was a wonderful impression of baby Tendo.
If you put a bunch of people in an environment and you let them sit there, they're gonna develop the language and it's gonna change. And then before you know it, the people 2 miles to the north aren't gonna know what the heck you're saying.
It's weird because my sister recently got married to someone from North Carolina, and the terms that they use are so completely different from where we live. It's so weird how things differ. And then it's like he said, "Y'all never say that," and I was like, "No, we don't. We also don't use the word y'all. Thank you very much." But it's so crazy. It's so weird. I'm actually gonna send you the link to this test now. I don't know if you have time. I don't know how long it took me, like 5 minutes to do, but I think that this would be a fun thing to do, just like right now, but while we're talking about it. So we could go through the questions together. I don't know how long this will
actually,
take.
if you guys have the link, play along.
Yeah, play along. Unfortunately, it's only for the US, but if you're in the US, hey.
If not, just listen to it and mentally say what you would, and maybe it could help you figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, and it shows you a cool map at the end. This will be in the show notes. I would highly suggest playing along because this would be very fun. Please, like, I don't know, comment or something. Tell us what your results did, and I don't know if you want to share your...
If this is extremely accurate, we might have to cut this part out because then people could figure out where I am. Oh my gosh,
you're right.
Anyway, okay.
Man. Okay,
let's go. So first question. How would you address a group of 2 or more people? There's you all, yous, you lot, you guys, you uns, yins, you, other, y'all.
Why was y'all the last one? I feel like that should be at, like, the top. Why is it before other? Okay, so
see,
how would you do this,
Tendo? If I was typing, or if I was in a formal setting, I would say you all, but instinctively you guys.
Okay, you say you guys based on, so like you and everyone, like usually the place where you live says you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then what do you call the area of grass in the middle of some streets? Median. I've always heard it called a median. Interesting.
Other
things are boulevard, midway, traffic island, neutral ground. I have no word for this. And
we don't have a word for that.
I'm fairly certain in traffic terminology it is called a median. I think it's supposed to be called a median.
Yeah, I think that is true, but we don't ever call it that. We just call it like the patch of grass. That's it. That's literally all of it. So I don't know.
Strange. How do you pronounce crayon? And so the answers are with 1 syllable, rhymes with man. So crane. Cran.
That's how my friend pronounces it.
Like a cranberry. With 2 syllables, sounds like crayon. With 2 syllables, where the second syllable rhymes with dawn, crayon. Sounds like crown. Other crayon. Yeah, crayon. Rhymes with dawn.
How does it rhyme with crown? Crayon?
No, it just sounds like crown.
Crown. Just that's it? Just crown. Weird. So, okay.
I do it where it rhymes with dawn. How do you pronounce? There we go. Ben. I pronounce it like let's see. Sit, see, set. Like the word set.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Set, Ben.
Set, Ben. Set. I've been elsewhere. I don't know.
Interesting. What do you call the insect that flies around in the summer and glows in the dark? Lightning bug, Firefly. I use lightning bug and firefly interchangeably. Peony Wally. I have no word for this other. Thank goodness they have the third one, because everyone I know uses lightning bug and firefly interchangeably. Nobody uses it more than the other. That I know of.
Yeah, I say lightning bug. However, I've never seen a lightning bug because they're like not around here at all. So,
Oh my god.
how often do you see lightning bugs?
Oh, just the last 3 days. There's been so many of them.
We have frogs.
Driving down the road.
We have frogs
Ew.
and crickets.
Keep
They're
them away
loud.
from me.
Wait,
I mean,
you want
we
to
have
keep
crickets.
the lightning bugs away from you?
No, frogs.
Oh,
Frogs.
okay.
Have I told you? Large amphibians, scary.
Wait, why are they so scary?
Toads and frogs are like my biggest fear.
I did not know that.
Okay, it is like my singular fear. I would pet and I would carry around a tarantula. I would do the same with a snake, a lizard, an insect like a centipede or a cockroach. They're adorable. I love them all. But if you bring a
Cockroaches are adorable, and
yeah,
centipedes.
they are.
Centipedes are kind of cute the way that they move
I had
around.
a pet one. But if you bring a toad within 5 feet of me, I will run for the hills.
That's so interesting.
I will screech like a small girl, and I will run because and I want to get over my fear, but they're terrifying. I hate them. Frogs are okay because they're not camouflaged. So I see them and then I can be like, "Oh, that's kind of cute, but don't touch me." Toads are camouflaged. So like they're not there and then they're there and then I lose it and I jump into the air and
like a toad. You're
like
mimicking the exact animal you dislike.
I do not like them. That's should be another subject for another episode. Fears.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Wow, this is going to be the whole episode. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce the words Mary, Mary, and Mary?
I think you pronounce them all the same.
I wanted to explain. Okay, listen. Mary, as in the name, with a capital M. Proper. Capital M-A-R-Y. Mary, like Mary Ellen, Mary Ann. And then Merry, as in Merry Christmas, like you are jovial, happy. M-E-R-R-Y.
Yeah.
And then Mary, as in into wedlock. M-A-R-R-Y. I pronounce them all Mary, Mary, and Mary. That's all the same. All three are pronounced the same.
It's just so funny because it's like you're reading this out and then I'm just hearing the audio and I'm not seeing the words, and it's just, how do you pronounce Mary, Mary, and Mary? I think you pronounce them all the same. I don't think you have to ask me
This
that.
is the worst test for a podcast because it's auditory. So my horrible like dialect is gonna come straight through, and the listeners are gonna be like, "What is going on?"
Do you know what's funny? The fact that I got this test from a podcast that I listened to. They didn't actually play it on the podcast. They did it off the podcast and then talked about it. But I think it would be interesting because you've never taken it and I've already taken it. So we can talk about. Yeah.
The other options are just pairs of two of those three words, and then the other one is pronounced different. So
yeah,
Mary and Mary are pronounced the same, but Mary is different, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, all three are pronounced the same.
Yes.
What do you call a big road on which you drive relatively fast? Okay. Highway, freeway.
This one was very tricky for me because you drive quickly on the freeway, and you also, there's highways that are around here that go 50 miles per hour, which is relatively fast. So I didn't know what they were asking for this one. This one was kind of confusing for me.
Well, I think that's the point. They're trying to be a little
vague.
General. Yeah, vague.
Yep.
Highway, freeway, parkway, turnpike, expressway, throughway, and then a freeway is bigger than a highway. A freeway is free. A freeway has limited access.
Yes.
Whereas a highway can have stoplights and intersections.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I chose.
I have always been fascinated by the word freeway because I think it sounds so awesome, but I've never heard anyone where I live ever use it.
Really? Do you never call them freeways?
No.
Only
never.
highways?
I only know it as a highway. I thought that is the proper name. I think that is the only name. I know of highways and interstates.
Oh, weird.
I know of and there's county roads. And then that's it. Those are the only 3 types of roads that I learned about in driving class.
Yeah. We have freeways, highways, county roads, interstates. Interstate is just another type of freeway, so we just call it the freeway. And it's like I blank depending on which interstate you're getting onto. Interstates are the ones that go interstate, and the freeways, well, to be fair, all the freeways that we have are interstates, but we just call it the freeway. But that's interesting. I thought like everyone called it a freeway or a highway.
No.
But
well, I want to see on the map here. Okay, that's interesting. I was going to say, is it an urban or rural thing? If you look at the map all across, okay, that's interesting. Well, I'm not going to announce that cuz I don't want people to we'll see. What do you call an easy high school or college class? Okay. A gut, crypt course, bird, blow off, meet, other? An easy okay. I'm sorry. I've never heard anyone call an easy college or high school class anything.
Same.
Same. I'm guessing it's a very urban thing. Like maybe in dense cities, that's a thing.
Maybe where community colleges are a thing. Or something.
I know where community colleges. That's so interesting.
Where I live, there's community colleges, but I'm just saying.
Interesting. Well, we'll find out. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining?
There we go.
Okay,
that one.
Here we go. Sun shower. The wolf is giving birth. The devil is beating his wife. Monkey's wedding. Fox's wedding. Pineapple rain. Liquid sun. I have no term or expression. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? They're all so weird. Wait, was sun shower on one of the options?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah,
that sounds like what I would automatically call it. Like that's if I thought of a name for it.
Yeah, I googled what is it called when it's sunny outside when it's raining, and Wikipedia brings me to an article on sun shower. So I think that's the proper term.
But I bet that's the meteorological.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try.
But if you guys don't call it anything, then say
it's quite common. I've seen it 2 or 3 times just this year, but yeah, I've never heard anyone refer to it. So I'm gonna say no term. What do you call the small freshwater lobster often found in lakes and streams? It's a crawfish. It's crawfish. Crawfish, crayfish, crowfish. Crawdad. Mudbug. I have no word for this critter.
We use crawfish and crawdad interchangeably here, but that wasn't an option, so I couldn't do that.
I was gonna say crawdad is what I use. Well, because I took a camp, like an outdoor rivers camp, and we learned all about crawdads. And then, like in school, we played around with crawdads. So I've heard all of the others though. Interesting. And I suppose in places where there aren't a lot of freshwater lakes and streams.
Yeah, we do have a lot of them around here though.
If you look on the map, it kind of correlates. Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you call a traffic situation in which several roads meet in a circle? That is a roundabout.
Thank you very much.
That is what I learned. All of these
I've heard traffic circles. Traffic circles are very, very often widely used. I don't like the term traffic circle as much as I like roundabout. Roundabout is just fun to say, and it is wonderful.
Well, the nice thing is I could get out my my driver's my state driver's booklet, and all of these would say exactly this. Like, we are taught this in education. So it's like set in stone for those areas. Okay. How do you pronounce the second syllable of pajamas? Now, I used to pronounce it pajamas. It used to be pajamas for the first 12 years of my life. For whatever reason, I say pajamas now.
Why? So there's no reason? You just switched?
I don't know why. Okay, because I just read it out loud now. in my head, and
Okay.
because I want to say pajamas because it sounds more correct, and that's how most people I know say it. But for whatever reason, pajamas sound. I want to say pajamas. I don't know if it's because
do pajamas.
I'm gonna do pajamas.
Pajamas.
Yep.
I pronounce it pajamas. But
Pajama.
everyone pronounces it pajamas here. No, now it's not even sounding like a word. Pajamas. It's weird. Okay. This isn't on the test, but I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce the cushy mattress type, like the small mattress that you place under your head when sleeping?
Oh, a pillow?
Say that one more time, please.
Pillow?
Okay, thank you. I see that you know what I was going for right there.
No, I just call it a pillow. Like, is there? I'm sorry, I forget what the incorrect would be then.
Pillow. I used to pronounce it pillow until I saw that it was written pillow, and I was like, screw this, I'm gonna pronounce it correctly.
Well, that's similar to the Wisconsin calling a bag a bag.
Oh, yeah, we call it a bag all the time over here, but I call it a bag because that's how it's spelled.
Oh, nice. Okay, well...
Do you guys never pronounce it
I
bag?
know one person that calls it bag, and they are from, I believe,
Wisconsin,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people call it a bag over here, but I personally pronounce it bag because that's how it's spelled, and so I want to be correct and proper, so...
All right. What do you call the large wildcat native to the Americas?
Here it is.
This has a billion names.
Yep.
Mountain lion, cougar, puma, mountain cat, panther, catamount, mountain screamer, painter. Okay. I've heard cougar a few times, but mountain lion mostly.
Okay, interesting. We call it a cougar down here. Up here. Here. We call it here.
Puma, panther, I'm pretty sure that's just straight up incorrect. I'm pretty sure they're not even in that kingdom. I don't know.
They're both wildcats. They are part of the, but they're not in North America. That's why it said exclusive to North America. They're in South America and Africa.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I call them mountain lion. I want to go where they call it a painter.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Oh my gosh!
What?
You call them what?
Cougar.
Mountain lions? Cougar.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something about the map, Noah?
Yes.
The entire map for mountain lion is red, except for guess what?
Washington.
Central Washington.
Oh my gosh.
That is hilarious. It's just blue. There's just a spot of blue right there. Everything else is red.
That's so weird.
That's hilarious.
Oh, but get this. So, this has nothing to do with where you live or where I live, but I looked at the map for the, what do you call the area of grass between the sidewalks and the road? And I said, I have no word for this. Most similar, everywhere on the map is red except for this small little blip that is, shoot, I can't think of what state that is. I'm an idiot. It's that one right there.
That's okay. There's 50 of them.
Yeah, I know, but I'm an American citizen. I feel like I should know all of them. I know all the ones that surround Washington, so I think I'm good. There's only 4, but that's irrelevant. But I also know a lot of the provinces in Canada. There's only 11 of those, 13 of those.
Oh, nice. Wow, yeah, I know, like... Oh, okay. Interesting. This is a good one. Noah. How do you pronounce... Hold on.
The suspense is killing my goodness.
I say it's caramel. I say caramel. Everyone around, it's like pajamas. Everyone around me says pajamas. Everyone around me says caramel. But I say caramel. And I say pajamas. And I feel... Is that forced? Did I pick that up from like the internet? I'm confused.
Hey Tendo. So remember last episode, in the gaming special, you told me about a caramel roll. A caramel roll.
Did I say caramel?
You said caramel, and you said caramel within the span of 1 minute.
Did I say them differently?
You said both of them. You said a caramel roll. You said, you're like, what kind of roll is it, Noah? Is it a caramel roll? And then I was like, what's a caramel roll? And you're like, it's a roll, much like a cinnamon roll, but it has caramel. So you pronounce them both differently. So I think instinctively you say caramel, but you choose when choosing to say the word, you say caramel.
Oh yeah, I bet when I'm conscious of okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna put I use both pronunciations interchangeably.
It seems like that is the case. I'll insert that little tiny sound clip right here.
Oh my gosh. You play as a roll? What kind of roll?
ROLE.
A caramel roll?
What the heck is a caramel roll?
A Rolo?
What's a caramel roll?
A cinnamon roll?
Okay, I know what a cinnamon roll is, and I know what a Rolo is, but what's a caramel roll? Let's step back here. What is that?
So you know how there's cinnamon rolls?
So
and
is
they
it like
have cinnamon in them.
What? Wow.
You put caramel in them?
Ooh.
Then it's a caramel roll.
Boom. Now, even if they skip the horrible gaming special of episode 8, now they know that you pronounce caramel and caramel in the same episode within that small little bit.
Do you call the sweet spread that is put on a cake frosting or icing? Wow, that is a hard one. Because, okay, well, there's frosting, icing, refer to different things, both, neither. As a child, I always thought they were referring to different things because people called them different things when they put them on different foods. But thinking about it, I can think of no difference. So I'm going to put both.
So you use both of them interchangeably?
I say frosting, but...
Yeah, okay. So I don't know if this is where everywhere it is, but where we live, it's frosting. But frosting and icing is different. Frosting is like, if it's like a dollop of frosting on like a cupcake or something, that's frosting. That's only frosting. But icing is usually more of a thing that covers the entire thing and like ices it. That's also a verb that we use around here when icing a cake.
Yeah, I was gonna say I say icing a cake, but when I like say I don't like the frosting on this.
Exactly, that's exactly how we use it up here. So
I'm gonna say both.
Spoilers, guys. Tendo actually lives in Washington. Who knew?
No way.
Okay, he doesn't. Spoilers. He doesn't actually.
What do you call the rubber-soled shoes worn in gym class for athletic activities?
This is so easy.
Sneakers, shoes, gym shoes, sand shoes, jumpers, tennis shoes, running shoes, runners, trainers. I have no general word for this. Other. Sneakers is the proper term, but everywhere around here, and I believe I also call them tennis shoes.
Good. And sneakers is not the proper thing. It's like okay, people call it a Kleenex, but it's actually just a tissue.
So it's a brand.
Yeah, it's the brand. So what it's funny is my friend told me about that, and I was like, I never call it a Kleenex. I always just call it a tissue. And he was like, what? You do? But
that's like calling an adhesive
bandage.
What do you call it? Bandage. A Band-Aid.
Yeah, well, okay. I call those Band-Aids. I call tissues and not Kleenexes. But you know, like Tupperware containers? You know what when I say Tupperware container, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was a full-fledged brand until like...
It is.
Yeah, and then so I don't know what to call it. A plastic storage container? No, I'm going to call it a Tupperware container.
I'm okay with anyone calling it because a lot of times they have a monopoly on the business. It's whatever. People know what you're talking about.
Band-Aids.
The only one I will go against is if you call any smartphone an iPhone.
Oh, that's no, you can't say that.
I will sit you down and have a little talk about a thing called ignorance. And I'll teach you about the fact that not all smartphones are iPhones, despite what you may think. And what your grandchildren have. I'm just kidding. I
will sit down with you. Say, okay, come sit on my lap, young Billy. Let me tell you about the difference between these smartphones. The disparity is great, young Billy, and you are dumb, and they are not all iPhones. And that is exactly what Tendo says to every little child named Billy. It is.
Yeah, I do.
I totally respect that.
How do you pronounce... Now, here's the thing. When thinking about it and when reading it out loud, I want to say aunt. But when I instinctively think of my aunt, I think aunt and uncle. So
I feel the exact same way. I say
the same
I
way.
say aunt and uncle, but when I read it, I read aunt, and I can't read it any other way. But it's like my Aunt Susie. That's not actually, I don't have an Aunt Susie, but
okay.
my Aunt Susie, not my Aunt Susie. I'm not British, not my Aunt Susie. So, sorry for all those British-speaking folks with those accents. That was really bad, and I am sorry. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, listen to this, though. The options are with the vowel aunt, to sound like ant, with the vowel in cot, so aunt. Interesting. I have the same vowel in cot, and aunt, to sound like ain't. And these are the two interesting options. I use aunt for the general concept of an aunt, but I use aunt when I refer to a specific person by name. I have that one. And then there's the reverse. Aunt is the general concept. Aunt is a specific person by name. I think that's what I think of. Because when people tell me about their aunt and uncle, I'm like, oh, you have an aunt. But when I think of my aunts,
you think, oh, they're crawling all over me. Get them off of me now. They're invading. Gotta shut down their tribe. It's not a tribe of ants.
Oh, gosh.
Gotta shut down their tribe of ants. No, that's not... Okay.
What would you call a sale of unwanted items on your porch in your yard? Tag sale, yard sale, garage sale, rummage sale, thrift sale, stoop sale, carport sale, sidewalk sale, jumble sale, car boot sale, patio sale. Okay. I have heard sidewalk sale, garage sale, and yard sale, but garage sale is the most common where I live.
Garage sale, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But, okay, so around here, we call it a garage sale, or sometimes a yard sale. It depends. It changes depending on the location. And a rummage sale is different than a yard sale. A yard sale is usually, like, at your own place, and you're selling things, and it's all sprawled out on the yard, and people can come through and then look at things that they like, come to you, and then buy it off the yard. As opposed to a rummage sale, it's all set up, usually in neat shelves, where people can, I don't know, come inside a building, usually. So, I don't know, do you guys have different...
Never heard of rummage sale. Yeah, yard sale, garage sale, it just depends on whether they have it on their driveway or inside the garage.
Yeah.
Or actually out in the grass of their yard.
Mm-hmm. That's
or they usually have a sign that says. Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you call the small road parallel to the highway? Footage road, service road, access road, feeder road, gateway. We have them, but have no word for them. I've never heard of this concept. Other. Noah, where I live, I have never heard of this concept.
Really? Interesting. Neither have I, actually. So,
I can think of a few instances, but they don't continue parallel to the highway. Okay. What do you call a large motor vehicle used to carry freight? Okay.
This one. This is the one that I was surprised about.
Listen, we got semi-truck, tractor trailer, trailer truck, transfer truck, transport, truck and trailer, semi-trailer, 18-wheeler, truck, rig, big rig, lorry, other.
Wow, that sounds pretty trucking awesome.
What? Hilarious.
I'm very funny.
But if you're really slang, I've heard just truck. Very rarely, though.
How can you say just truck? There's so many different types of trucks.
And then, well, not where some people live. And in very urban areas, you only see cars or semi-trucks. Anyway, the proper term would be semi-truck, but when I'm just on the road and I see one, that's a semi.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Just a semi.
Call them a semi. Interesting.
Ooh. What do you call the night before Halloween?
Yes.
Gate night, trick
one.
night, mischief night, cabbage night, goosey night, devil's eve. I have no word for this. Okay, last year I saw like a documentary on this, and I learned it as mischief night or devil's night. But before I had watched that documentary, that had never been a thing. I had never heard of people like pillaging, thieving, causing mischief the night before Halloween.
I'd say pillaging is much more than causing mischief.
It depends
causing
on
mischief
the location
and pillaging
and the
are two
time era.
entirely different extremes. You said
Hence,
fine. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
I wasn't using those interchangeably. I apologize.
Okay, you're forgiven, Tendo. I forgive you. Okay, so you also didn't have. You don't have a word for this. We don't have a word for this. You know.
All right. What do you call the thing from which you might drink water in a school?
This one.
Oh my gosh. So we got a bubbler, water bubbler, drinking fountain, water fountain, other. Okay, I want to hear what you have to say about this one first.
First, I want to hear yours. I've already done the test.
Oh, okay. Bubbler, never heard of it. Water bubbler, never heard of it. Guessing that's a far... I don't know.
It sounds British, but this is a United States quiz, so...
Drinking fountain, water fountain. Oh my goodness. I don't know which one to choose. Everyone I know uses them very interchangeably, but I'm leaning a little more towards water fountain. I've heard higher-ups and more proper people, like teachers, call them a drinking fountain, or when it's on a sign, drinking fountain. But I think just slang, just saying, I'm going to go over to the water fountain. Yeah, I think it's water fountain, but I hear this both very commonly. Well, what's it for you?
I, personally, always call it a drinking fountain, because a water fountain can be any form of fountain. Like
any fountain with water, yeah.
Yeah, a fountain with water, which is basically all fountains, except for, like, chocolate fountains and stuff. But, you know, like, I don't know, like a fountain with, like, a pool of water and a statue that is, like, in an amazing, flexible, agile pose, and the water is splurting out of its mouth or something. That's very, very vivid, but I don't know.
Oh boy, Noah.
That's a water fountain. Did it get your location?
Nope. We got okay, no, we got 3 more.
Oh.
And this is the one. This is the kicker. This is when everyone leaves the podcast because for whatever reason people have an emotional attachment to this.
Is this GIF or GIF?
Which is very irrational.
Because I don't remember that being on it.
That one is also very emotional and very irrational for people to be attached to. What do you call a sweetened carbonated beverage?
Here it is.
Boy. We got it, folks.
Here it is.
Here are the options. Soda, pop, Coke, tonic, soft drink, lemonade, Coca-Cola, fizzy drink, or dope.
Dope?
I'm going to say I don't call it dope. I don't call it a fizzy drink. I don't call it Coca-Cola because that's specific.
Wait,
I don't
Coca-Cola
call it lemonade.
Or Coke?
Coca-Cola. That's actually an option. I don't call it
Why?
Coca-Cola because that is already a separate one.
It's like a Band-Aid or a Kleenex.
Yeah. I don't call it lemonade because that is literally another beverage.
Literally just a drink. It's not even fizzy.
It has lemon in the name. I'm not sure where. Soft drink. If I'm in a restaurant.
Yes. It has the menu items are soft drinks.
I will call it's a soft drink because it's coming from it's a fountain. I can't say the actual word because I haven't revealed it yet. Tonic, I have heard once or twice, never in this area, but just among the ramblings of the internet. Coke, once again, is a specific term. Pop or soda?
Are those really the only two that are...
Here's the problem. So many people argue about this where I live. I don't know. Because I'm sure one of them is my gut feeling, and then the other one is...
Go for your gut feeling. Which one do you call it?
I'm gonna say my gut feeling is pop. If I'm not thinking and I'm asking, can I have a pop, even though I don't drink it anymore?
Yeah, I don't like pop at all.
Whenever I'm thinking about it or I'm referring to it consciously, I call it soda. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to go with pop. Go ahead, leave everybody. I know it's okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. What do you call the area of grass between the sidewalk
Here it is.
and the road?
Oh, this is the one. Oh, this is the one this is the one that we didn't have a term for.
Berm, parking, tree lawn, terrace, curb strip, beltway, verge. I have no word for this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't have a word for that either.
Yeah, I know, right? It's weird.
If I were to give it a name, though, I would call it a curb strip or a terrace.
A terrorist? Oh gosh.
A terrace.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, I couldn't. Why would you call it a terrace? That's something entirely different. That's like a balcony type deal.
It's okay. Maybe a beltway. I don't know. Okay, last one.
I think curb strip makes the most sense because it's like a strip of grass between the curb and the. Never mind.
What is the distinction between dinner and supper?
Oh
okay.
Man.
Last question, everybody.
This is like the best one.
Here are the different answers. I'm going to read them carefully. Supper is an evening meal. Dinner is eaten earlier. Supper is an evening meal. Dinner is the main meal. Dinner takes place in a more formal setting than supper. There's no distinction. They both have the same meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use the word supper. I don't use the word dinner. And other. Okay. I didn't think I had a preference, but reading this now, I've realized dinner I would probably say is a more formal setting. If it is prepared, it is dinner. If it is eaten, it is supper.
Hold up. Wait. So when you eat dinner, the food's prepared, but you never eat it?
No. You don't. No. That's what I wanted to say. You don't discuss, like, I don't know. For me, supper is.
It's more informal. It's like supper's with your family, and dinner is with, like,
the thing is, I could still have dinner with my family, but that would mean that it's a good supper. That it's like a formally. I don't know.
So supper is more formal?
No, I think dinner is more formal. Okay.
Supper sounds like a less formal word, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. It's getting my results.
Oh man.
Wait for it.
Ooh. That's the drum roll on my table. We don't actually have drums, I'm sorry.
All right. Now, I have my map.
Okay.
If you want to see this map, donate at least $5 to us on Patreon. I'm kidding. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
It's okay. It's like, give us $5 a month or more on Patreon, and you will get to see the results to his map. But wait, we won't actually tell you how accurate the map is, so it will be basically
I was gonna
useless.
say, why don't I say what it is?
Okay, that was a joke. You can't. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna take your money to see results.
So here's what it is. It's really dark blue in like upper East Coast. Like, what do you call it? That's the New England area.
Yes, like Maine, New York.
Most of the country is a palish. So if you guys can't tell, the scale is like a weather map. Blues, cooler colors are like dead, nothing.
Least similar, and reds.
Right.
The more intensity to red, it's the most similar.
Right.
And white is like neutral.
As it reaches the center, reaching Nebraska, Kansas, Illinois, Missouri, that kind of area. I guess that's the Midwest. It gets darker, and it's
darker, like meaning darker blue or
darker red.
Okay, so
darker
brighter.
Red. So from the edges to the country is like kind of light, and then as it gets closer, it gets redder and redder. And the 3 cities that it recommends, that it like most matches me to, is Wichita, Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Springfield, Missouri.
Oh man. And you live in all of them at the same time.
I do, actually, simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. If you've ever heard of quantum physics, I'm quantumly entangled among 3 different organisms. It's pretty interesting.
All controlled by one hive mind.
I won't tell you how accurate it is. But yeah, that's my map.
That's very cool. It's very interesting to see how just based on colloquialisms and different phrases that we use and don't use, it can give a stab at it best it can. And for me, It was super accurate. And we're not going to discuss how accurate it was for you, but
right.
It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I would highly suggest trying this. It's in the description, or in the show notes. It's in the show notes. Go give it a try. It's by Sunday Review. I mean, the New York Times. Dang it, every time. It says Sunday Review right here, and that threw me off. But New York Times. We, and by we I mean me, have had this like great idea that, well, I think it's a great idea, that will get you guys more interactive into the podcast, and it would be interesting to hear your comments and just for you to, I don't know, experiment with us on this idea. So listeners out there, there's a few podcasts that I listen to called one is Hello Internet. I've discussed it briefly on the podcast before, and a new one called No Dumb Questions. It's a great podcast, and they both suggest books and movies and stuff for you to read, and then they'll discuss them on a podcast. And every time they do that, I feel more a part of it, and I feel like I can express my opinions, even though I don't ever. But it's just, I think that's something that we want to do, but because, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of reading, but I really like short stories, I was thinking we could do kind of like a book club thing, but for short stories. And so the first short story that we're going to be discussing is called The Veldt. It's by Ray Bradbury. If you, listener, have never read it, I'm going to pause now. The link is in the show notes, and you should go read it. It's 10 pages long. It's a short story. And then come back, and then we will discuss it, and you will be in the loop. Okay, we're back, and either you have already read it, you just read it, or you didn't read it because you're a rebel. Either way, we're discussing it now.
If you didn't read it, I'm not going to blame you. It does take a while, and you might just be listening to this casually. I understand. It's whatever.
Rude.
Just pick up context clues about the story, because I don't think we're willing to summarize the plot. We're gonna infer.
We can give it a very brief summary. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so a brief summary for those who didn't read it, because you guys are rebels. I was gonna say stupid, but you're not stupid. You guys are smart, but I don't know. Okay, so basically, it takes place in the future, and there's two parents purchase this nursery. They call it a nursery. It's more like a virtual screen room thing, kind of like a holodeck from Star Trek, if you know what that is. If you don't, you can Google it. But basically, these kids, because of the lack of parental interaction, their parents just stick them into this place and say, okay, kids, go learn about China and generate China and whatever in this room and just play, and then we'll handle work and you can do that. And so basically what ends up happening is the kids go off someplace and the parents were saying, no, you can't do that. You need to come back. And then the kids, because they've always been given everything they want, they were like, no, we hate you, mom and dad. We hate you forever now. And so basically, in this imaginary world that they create in this nursery, they construct this scene of an African veldt, which is like a
it's a shrubland. It's like a savanna,
like a grassland, like a savanna. That's the word I was trying to think of. And so in their imagination place that they create, this fantasy world, lions kill their mother and father, and eventually, by the end of the story, it comes true. I would highly suggest reading it. It is very good. By literary standards, it's very well written and well paced. Okay, so I think we will get right into this. When I suggested to talk about the Veldt first, you, Tendo, said that you have some utter disdain for it. So I'm gonna get your opinion on it. And so why do you dislike this short story?
Okay, literarily, it's great. It's a great story. It's well paced. It's got good words. No.
Yeah, okay. No,
I
it's
did
not.
not like it.
Oh,
it
man.
was slow. It was so slow. There was a supreme lack of tension for me. part of it may be that I found like the twist at the end, them killing them parents was lackluster. I felt like it could have used more build up. We could have made these parents more relatable. We could have made the children a little more disconnected, a little more, I don't want to say creepy, but like make them not seem quite as human, because they are these children that are killing their parents,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. For me, it just seemed like a really, everything up until the twist seems like a very boring journal entry. It's lacking in, I don't know. I did not enjoy it. It was very slow for me. There's a lot of unnecessary details that didn't help further the characters, but rather were trying to establish a universe that we don't really need to care about, because at the end they just die anyway. Like, I believe isn't there a bit where they talk about them eating?
You mean toward the beginning?
Yeah, or at the beginning.
Yeah. They see that, or the two parents, they see that in the distance. They see something, the lions gnawing on something, and they hear screams that sound very familiar to them. And throughout the story, they go back in there. The father finds an old wallet of his covered in saliva, and the wife, or the mother, she finds an old scarf of hers with blood on it. And then they go back, and then they confront these children and whatever. But okay, so you didn't like it because you thought he was slow and the twist lacked oomph, right?
And not only that, but the twist was neither believable nor shocking.
Okay.
Because with the wallet and the scarf, for me, I didn't believe it. I'm sorry. In the context of reading the story, I was reading a series of stories that were supposed to be uncanny or creepy. And this story was neither uncanny, creepy, nor exciting, or invoked any real emotion in me in general.
Okay.
It sounds like I'm just rambling, because I am.
Yeah, you are
Sorry.
rambling, and that's totally fine. So
It's not.
okay, yeah, it's totally fine. I asked for your opinions, and you seemed very strong toward them, and that's good. I like that. It's good that you have strong opinions about something, especially something that I love so much. Okay, so what you say about it being a twist, I wouldn't say it's a twist, because there's a ton of foreshadowing, including the scarves and the wallet. So the ending isn't supposed to be a shock, a surprise. But I don't know if you got this, but when I read it, and at the very end, when it's just these two parents have been absolutely murdered and just eaten by these lions, these vicious lions, at the very end, it's just a cup of tea, asked Wendy in the silence. That ends the story on such a perfect note. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, the reason I love this story so much is because it's not as much of a boom, gotcha, you weren't expecting that, were you? But it's so well written that you know what's going to happen from these little hints in this setup. It's very well set up, and I think the payoff was very good. But I do agree with you when you say that it wasn't a shocking twist, because I don't think it was supposed to be.
Okay.
I don't know how many like short stories you've read or not. Do you read many short stories like at all?
I have. I mean, I don't go out of my way to find them in my free time, but yes, I've read my fair share.
Yeah, okay. So, I was homeschooled, but I went to a place and took classes. So my English teacher, we read a bunch of short stories all my years in high school, where we'd read short stories and like a whole quarter of the year just reading short stories and deconstructing them, and then listing their themes and their literary devices and stuff. And just from doing that, I just love everything like literary devices. I don't know. This is just something that I find so great about it. I don't know. There's a very low chance that you share the same love for literature that I do, but that's a topic for another day, maybe. But
I'm veered it for a long time. I really grew attached to worlds and the concept of like building a universe and a story and then growing attached to the characters or whatever. But when I actually write and when I'm looking for something to read now, I'm a very gimmicky person. Like you said at the end of the Veldt there, that lackadaisical bit where they're having tea after the parents were murdered. I love that. I'm a sucker for stuff like that with conflicting emotions.
Juxtaposition.
Yes.
It's this juxtaposition of this horrifying little thing and then this quaint little thing. It's perfect justification, and that's also a literary term if you guys didn't know. It's when you put two things side by side, seemingly unrelated or related somehow, and usually complete opposites. And I don't know. I think what you said it's great. It's good. And
right. I think in some writing class I wrote a piece on a man making a cake as the world is ending, and
that's good.
His house is being destroyed. The world is falling apart. All that he loves is being torn away. But he's disappointed because he only used the egg yolks instead of the whole eggs.
God, that idiot.
It's too runny, or there wasn't enough milk. Exactly. And then as he finishes his cake, the last of his house is torn away, and he is left alone with a slice of cake that he's decided is mediocre. So it's that kind of stuff.
That's perfect. That's really good. That's a really good short story idea.
Yeah, I think that was a final for English this last year.
That's okay. So So usually short stories are very difficult to write for one specific reason. Or no, there's actually a few reasons. The first reason is it's hard to establish things, set up something, and pay off something, and have conflict and a resolution all within a small chunk. That's why short stories are so difficult. And that's why when there's a good short story, such as The Veldt, I appreciate it to basically no end. But also, things like that is very good. Also, every short story has a theme and a lesson that you can pull away from this. This one, The Veldt, is about how if you don't tend to your children and give them basic maternal and fraternal needs and have a relationship with them, they will be distant from you. And this is an over-exaggeration of that. It's using hyperbole such as like literally murdering you in their fantasies and in literal life, but it's the overall overarching theme. Okay, and what were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say I like them for the opposite reason. I say you leave the setup, the climax, and the resolution stuff for your big stories. When I read a short story, I like it because you can make it about a gimmick. You can make the story a gimmick. You can have one trope, one running joke, one silly little thing that you want to try, and that can carry the whole story, and that can be it. You can't write a novel like that because it'll get boring and you won't grow attached to your characters and your world. But I like short stories because you can experiment and take risks because
it's a short story. Yeah.
You're building it and destroying it in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. That's a very good. That's a good way to write a short story as well. It's not like you're not going to get a literary great, amazing short story out of that usually. Actually, that's not true. Have you heard of the short story called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? It has also been turned into 2 films, one more recent with Ben Stiller and Sean Penn. Have you heard of it?
Have not.
Okay, so it is this life of this Walter Mitty, a very wimpy guy who goes in and out of daydreams, and we could discuss that one later, but it is very well written. It does not have a climax, and it switches between these scenes, and as you said, in like a gimmick or one experimental thing, and it works very well. So I guess there are times where you can do that, but there's also themes and stuff that you can get out of it and life lessons that you can learn. But even for that one gimmicky thing that you wrote about this surreal thing of this world coming to an end and this guy's just making this cake is a very good theme for don't focus on the little things when the world is literally falling around and crumbling and ending around you. I don't know if you meant to do that, but
I was actually going to say the story actually was a lot more specific, and it was trying to teach a very depressing, nihilistic lesson. But then when it wasn't finished, I had people read it, and they found lessons similar to yours that are more hopeful or more punishing, and I liked those equally. So what I did was I actually took out the way it ended originally.
How did it end originally? Please indulge me. That's the word I was thinking. Indulge me.
What originally happened is he made the cake for the world, and like the world, I don't know, there was some sort of pun or whatever. The cake is taken like almost as
a life force.
It was like a sacrifice. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's much more dark.
Okay, I don't remember what it was, but maybe it wasn't the ending. But the idea originally was, like, don't take this the wrong way, but like the idea was, everybody dies, nothing matters, so enjoy your cake while you can.
That's a horrible life lesson, but I like how it's an anti-life lesson.
Exactly. And so when other people read it because I had multiple drafts, and then they found other ones, I tried to make it as vague as possible so you could interpret it differently, which makes me sound like a bad
genius?
a bad game designer or a genius, which I'm not. I just found a funny way to do a story with a really depressing lesson that I got rid of so that you can find your own lesson. Yeah. I could maybe put it in the show notes or read it sometime. I don't know.
Yeah. If you send it to me, I'll put it in the show notes. Yeah. If you guys want to read Tendo's final essay, final English project, in the description, in the show notes. Dang it, I keep saying description. So, as a YouTuber, that's like so second nature.
Actually, I've had a few people that have told me, that have yelled at me, call it the description because I only watch it on YouTube. So call it the description. If you call it the show notes one more time, I'm going to get so mad. But no.
But I'm trying to push the audio version, Tendo. We're paying money for it.
I know.
It's on all platforms.
That's a fun thing. We need to talk about that next time. My PayPal account got suspended.
That's... Okay. That's a topic for next episode. Oh wow.
Boy. I'm so excited.
Okay, well, we will talk about that next. Okay, so that was our discussion on the Veldt and just short stories in general. I think we're going to do this like every 2 or 3 episodes, depending on how we feel about it. So in the description, I will link the next short story, which we will be reading. And have you ever read The Scarlet Ibis, Tendo?
No, I've never heard of either.
Okay, so based on the 2 titles, The Scarlet Ibis or The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which one do you want to tackle next?
I want to do the Secret Life one because that sounds like it would appeal to me.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty, we will be discussing that within the next 3 episodes. Link in the show notes description, and go read that, and you will be in the loop. So this is something that we want to get into doing more often because it's a lot more entertaining and more fun for listeners. Personally, I'm a listener to other podcasts, and I love it when they do things like this. So, yeah. If you have any short story suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and we might read them. But I have plenty up my sleeves, so we should be good. And you also have some that you have, so. Okay. Yes. So, Tendo, I think this was a good episode from the...
I think it was.
From the maps and all that. So, there's just one more thing to close off this wonderful episode.
Oh, man.
How do you stop a charging rhinoceros?
I don't know.
You take away her credit card. Get it? Charging? It's...
Yeah,
Okay,
I got it, Noah. I got it. It's a funny joke. The rhino's charging.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Charging the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Haha.
So you take it away, and they... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they can't charge no more. Get it?
Right. Exactly. Perfect.
That's great. No, we gotta go to the 10. Gotta go to the 10.
But
No.
we've never gone to 10 before.
We have. We went above 10 once, I think.
Hmm.
Yep.